Most bikes use a Allen head bolt and a nut on the opposite sides. You will not be able to loosen the bolt with the Allen head. You will need to loosen it with your wrench. Once it's loose, then you can use the Allen to finish removing the bolt. Now we're going to go ahead and remove all 6 of our sprocket bolts. And remember, it's a good idea to maybe go in a star pattern. Once you've removed all your sprocket bolts and nuts, we can go ahead and remove our sprocket. Next, we're going to clean the mating surface of our hub for our new sprocket. You can use some brake cleaner to clean the mating surface of the hub. When using brake cleaner or contact cleaner, make sure you use your safety glasses. You can just spray a small amount and use some Scotch-Brite pads to go around and thoroughly clean the surface. You do not want any debris in between the sprocket and the hub. Doing so will cause the sprocket and the hub not to mate correctly, and then eventually the piece of debris will crumble and crack in between the hub and the sprocket, causing your bolts to come loose. Use a rag, wipe off our surface. Also, you want to make sure underneath is clean where the nuts and washers made against the hub. Notice how clean our hub is. Now we're ready to install our new sprocket. Note, if you are reusing your same sprocket bolts, it's a good idea to clean them off with some brake cleaner or some contact cleaner. You want them clean with no debris. Also, you want to clean your washers and the nuts. I'm just double checking to make sure my mating surfaces are clean and free of any debris before installing my sprocket. Simply lay your sprocket onto the hub, line the holes. Now we can install our bolts. Just lay all of your bolts down into place. These are self-locking nuts, and the self-locking portion of the nut goes towards the outside. You can tell the self-locking either is a nylon edge on the nut or some serrated fins. These are the serrated locking nuts. Also, I'm going to apply Loctite to all the threads. Now with our Loctited nut, install our washer, work the nut and washer underneath the bolt, and just use the bolt to finger tighten. Install the rest of the washers and nuts. Go in a star pattern and just snugging up each one. Now we can really tighten down our nuts and bolts. Next, we just keep going in our star pattern and tightening down with some good force. Once we've got them all tight, now we can go ahead and torque them. To torque down your sprocket bolts, you can use a long extension and a socket and your torque wrench. Simply place your socket extension through from your brake side of the wheel and use your torque wrench to torque to the proper specifications. Using your torque wrench, you want to grab the handle firmly and pull until your torque wrench clicks. Now you want to go ahead and do this to all 6 of your sprocket bolts in a star pattern. Now remember, it's always a good idea to re-torque your sprocket bolts after 1 or 2 rides. Using new sprocket or new bolts and new sprocket, you get the new metals working to each other. They will loosen up. So remember, re-torque your sprocket bolts. Before reinstalling your tire and wheel, it's a good idea to make sure that your disc is clean, since we were cleaning the sprocket side of the hub. Debris and oils or grease could have gotten on our disc. So we want to make sure our disc is clean. You can use some brake cleaner or contact cleaner to clean your disc. Remember to use your safety glasses and just use a clean rag and lightly spray your disc and wipe down. Simply remove your wheel spacer, and you can use a rag with some contact cleaner if need be. Remove any of the old grease or debris from the spacer, and just take some new grease and run the grease along the seal and around your spacer. Now we can reinstall our spacer. Now I'm going to go ahead and do this to the opposite side.